This is right, I'd like to call this order of the regular board meeting of Harlem School District at 6 p.m., March 7th, 2022. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Sterling?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
Mrs. Brogan? Here. Mrs. Ranieri?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mrs. Meeks here.
Crystal Guido, recording secretary.
Terrell Yarborough, superintendent.
Shelley Wigner, Human Resources.
Michelle Erb, Curriculum and Instruction.
Josh Duran, Business and Operations.
All right, I'm going to turn this over to Melissa Yuska. Yep.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Melissa Yuska. I'm the principal at Windsor Elementary. We have two of our fabulous students here to help lead us in the pledge, and they are.
I'm Shirley and like.
Oh.
All right. Pledge and what?
To the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
Great job.
It is, yeah.
All right, and we have some changes to the agenda. 11B1 and 13A action items. 11A1 and 12B action items. We do not have. So no student travel, no surplus. Good. Can I get a motion with those changes?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye. All right, Dr. Yarbrough.
All right, so the mission of the Harlem Consolidated School District as a vital part of the community is to help diverse learners realize their unlimited potential by providing an educational program dedicated to academic excellence and the development of strong character in a safe and respectful learning environment.
Thank you, sir. All right. Approval of the board meeting minutes, February 28th, 2022. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
All right, turn it over to Jason Bloom.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight is an exciting night to be a Husky, for sure. I've got some familiar faces and a familiar coach that are entering the room this evening. First, we've got a couple of teams that we're recognizing this evening, as well as one of our great partners. And so, first up, a team and a program that really doesn't need a whole lot of recognition is our varsity girls bowling team. I have Coach Heath Scott back here. He's going to say a few things, talk about all their success. As you all are aware, no, we just broke something, I think. As you all are aware, this team placed second at the IHSA State Bowling Tournament, and so a team that, like I said, they are familiar faces and a team that deserves a lot of recognition. So before we introduce all the athletes, I'm going to let Coach Heath Scott talk a little bit about the season.
All right. Well, thank you guys for letting us come in. This team went 9-0 in conference, and I believe that's like our 7th conference championship in a row. This is a very young team. We went on to regionals and became the regional champs. We went on to sectionals and became the sectional champs. We have the Nick 10 Bowler of the Year, Paige Carpenter, 3 all-conference bowlers. First team all-conference, Carly, Kaylee, and Paige. We have 1 all-state bowler, which is Carly. We have a very young team, so we have 5 returning out of this group. So future's looking bright, so hopefully we can continue the success that we've had. So at this time, other than the fact that we came up short again for the 3rd consecutive year for our second place for the 3rd time in a row. But the girls told me they're coming back for one reason next year, so hopefully they can do that, and they're going to do that with all their practicing and bowling, right?
Yeah.
With that being said, I'll let them introduce themselves and let you know what grade they're in, and again, thank you guys very much.
My name is Paige Carpenter and I'm a senior.
My name's Haley Kerr and I'm a junior.
My name is Stephanie Mitchell and I'm a junior. My name is Miranda Clancy and I'm a sophomore. I'm Hannah Herklotz and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Riley Gilbert and I'm a freshman.
It's not too often that you have teams that are disappointed with the second place finish at the state level. And so obviously that just shows you what they're trying to achieve and the expectations that they have for themselves. And so on behalf of the school board, the Harlem School District, we want to say congratulations to this team. So. Turn on face that way. I'm going to have Dr. Elbro and our board president come up and do a photo before you all break any more of Harlem. I'll get a quick photo and I'll go here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Again, thank you guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it.
Yep.
All right. All right, so the next recognition tonight, this is kind of one of those moments where you're just like, what a special opportunity. And you're going to know what I'm talking about here in a second when I introduce these two individuals, but we are here representing our Harlem High School swimming and diving team at our state qualifier, but we have Coach Todd Mueller and Jeremy Mueller. And so, as I mentioned, what a cool honor to introduce a coach who had a student or an athlete qualify for state, but then also to have that athlete be his son. So congratulations to the two of you. I'll turn it over to you and let you talk a little bit about the season. We were talking out before, if you get a chance to check out the swimming area and you look at the plaques and things like that, you're gonna see this name kind of splattered all over the records that we have at Harlem High School. And so,
Sure.
Coach, yeah.
Well, thank you for this honor. We had quite a season this year. One of the hardest things I would have to say is coaching my own son. It's bittersweet sometimes, but when he wants to listen, he'll listen to me. And this year he had the goal of making it to state, and he fulfilled that goal. He's also finished the last 3 of the 24 records on the record board. Brad Shields was one of the oldest ones that we've had on that record board. He broke that this year. Our season went pretty well. We had another swimmer make a podium on the sectionals. He made 2 podiums in the fly and the 200 freestyle. So Jeremy qualified for state in the 200 IM, and he was the first swimmer from our school to qualify as a boy to qualify for the 200 IM. He also qualified and was seated 5th in the 100 freestyle. Went out, slipped a little bit on the first turn, put him a ways back, but he fought and had his second fastest 100 freestyle at state in his long swimming career. He's been swimming since he was 6 years old. So I'm always proud of you and the way you swam this year, so thank you very much.
We didn't mention this, but he's a junior. So,
yes.
I will expect that he will be back here again next year in front of all of you. So, again, congratulations on behalf of the board and the Harlem School District. So, I'm going to get a quick photo. If we could have you two come back around as well. What's that?
Does he want to say something?
Do you want to? You can just agree with your dad, or you can say something.
Pretty much all the stuff he said. I mean, I have the goal next year to obviously go back to state, but also to hopefully make it to finals the next time around. So, and be the first person from Harlem to make finals.
Yeah.
So,
I'll look forward to that next year. So,
Look forward to seeing your friends.
1, 2, 3. You want to get in here? We have one more team tonight to recognize as well. Again, this is an exciting night to be a Husky. So in front of me here we have our Harlem Varsity boys wrestling team. Coach Enderly is going to talk a little bit about the season. We have one athlete that qualified for the state tournament, and then obviously other athletes here that qualified for sectionals. So they had a great season as well. And turn it over to the coach.
Thank you. Thanks for having us here. We had kind of an up and down season this year, of course, with the COVID and all that running rampant, and wrestling and COVID aren't a real good match. But we started off the season, we had 40 kids in the room, which is a good number for us. We filled all our weights and things looked really good for us, but then as the COVID started rolling in and some of the other things that happened through the season, we lost a couple guys, our numbers fluctuated a little bit, but we handled ourselves pretty well throughout the season. I think we were 9-2 in dual meets. We wrestled well in the individual terms. We had a wrestler finish first at Hoffman Estates. Through the season, we finished high in all the terms we went to. We finished fourth in the conference tournament, which is not where we wanted to be, but we'll take it this year. Our best wrestler was out. Marshall, our state qualifier, missed the conference tournament with a bad ankle, but was able to come back the following week and finish second in regional, and then finished fourth at the sectional. Went to the state tournament. He set a state tournament record at his weight class for quickest technical fall, which is a win by 15 points. And he set that, and that's a state record that's been around for quite a while. So that was a big accomplishment. We finished with 2 first-team all-conference wrestlers, 4 honorable mention, and on our lower level, we won the Byron Frosh South tournament, which is a good thing. We won the conference Frosh South, kind of putting that, keeping on rolling with the lower levels. We wrestled in the IWCOA freshman and sophomore state series. A couple weeks ago, we had 7 wrestlers enter the regional Frosh South wrestlers. We qualified 4 for the sectional. 3 of those wrestlers on Sunday, yesterday, finished 3rd or 2nd. I think Justin was 2nd. So 2 thirds and a 2nd. So those 3 wrestlers qualified now for the state tournament, which is this weekend in Springfield. So that's a pretty good accomplishment. And our lower levels look pretty strong, and good things look like we've got coming. We only lose 2 senior wrestlers. Unfortunately, Marshall's one of them. But we lose those 2 team captains, but we've got a lot coming behind it. And I think we should be looking pretty well on the up for the next couple seasons. So.
Congratulations. I'm going to let these guys introduce. Why don't you say your name, grade, and then what weight class you wrestled at.
Alrighty, my name is Justin Lewis. I'm in 10th grade. I wrestled for 106. As my coach said here, it's pretty rough for IHSA. Regional, I ended up taking 2nd. I lost in the finals. Out of sectionals, that was pretty rough. I won a couple matches, and I lost to some pretty decent wrestlers. And so, but I wasn't gonna stop there. I came to Fresh Soft, and I wrestled for regional. I did really well there, moved on to sectional, and then took 2nd there. So.
Colton Zanoni, I'm a freshman, and I wrestle 113.
I'm Ethan Hagerman, I wrestle 126, and I'm a sophomore. I'm Marshall Coons, I'm a senior. I wrestled at 152. I was the one that, obviously as Sam said, I qualified at state. Unfortunately, I lost to a kid that took 4th within that state series that took me out. I was winning the match and then just got caught, and wrestled my best. I'm a little bit proud of this team this year. There's been some downfalls, some problems within me and some injuries, but overall our team wrestled good. They wrestled smart. Didn't have any faults, but
I see the upperclassmen looking at the lowerclassmen right now.
Yeah.
They're all just waiting for you to get out of here. So.
Little watchful for the next few years, but I feel like our team will be doing fairly decent as the time comes on.
I'm Ben Larson. I'm a junior and I wrestled 170. I ended up taking second at regionals and I did not make it past sectionals. I lost a round that I needed to win to move on.
Well, again, on behalf of the board and the Harlem School District, we want to say congratulations on a great season, Coach. We'll just kind of do an about turn and we'll do a photo quick. And just get one real quick and I'll go. Congratulations. Thank you. So we have one more recognition tonight, so I'm actually going to invite up Ms. Lisa Clark to recognize one of her partners. I do want to say before she talks a little bit, the group that she's recognizing for us as a district is a great partner, and I want to take a moment just to thank them for all that they do to support our school district. They're great partners for us. So
yes, come on, thank you. Thank you. This is Detective Cascio with Lost Park Police Department. It was really exciting. He approached me probably at the beginning of November and asked if we would like to partner with something that they were going to call Cops for Kids. And absolutely, we agreed to partner with them. And we were really the recipients of generosity from Detective Cascio and other officers. And they sponsored 25 of our students for Christmas gifts. And they bought the students multiple Christmas gifts. We were able to reach out to parents, find out what the students liked, what sizes they were, and they wanted to make sure they got them clothing and a toy. So, and they brought it to us beautifully wrapped with bows and name tags, and it was really wonderful. To see the parents come in and get that, and to see some of the parents with tears in their eyes, just completely overwhelmed and very appreciative of the help that they offered this year. So we'd like to honor them with a small plaque, just letting them know, hey, we really appreciate what you've done for our school and for our community. So thank you, Detective Cascio.
one more. Fine. I won't invite 14. Watch your faces. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. And he's nice. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else out there? Good, all right. Turning it over to comments from the community. One moment, please. Comments from the community. Comments should be respectful and demonstrate consideration for others. When recognized, address the board only at appropriate times as indicated on the agenda and when recognized by the board president. There are to be no interruptions during a public comment being made to the board. If there is a disruption, the individual may be ejected from the public meeting at the discretion of the board president / superintendent. Each speaker will be allotted up to 3 minutes to present his or her comment. Comments concerning the same subject matter may be narrowed to one spokesman first submitted by comment. Please be aware that the Board of Education members will not respond to your comments or questions during the meeting. If necessary, the superintendent or appropriate designee will contact you after the meeting to follow up on a concern or question you brought forward. And then, so I'll skip down to the last. You may choose to have your comment to be made in public or open or closed session. That being said, we'll call our first person, Dennis Jack.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the school board. My name is Dennis Jack. 2 years ago, my wife Kim Jack, who has been part of the Harlem School District for almost 20 years, asked me to apply for the opening for the automotive teacher and small gas engines. After she had asked me, I thought about it for a couple of days and decided to do it because I felt I could make a difference for the children and for the automotive industry. When I took the interview, mind you, the very first interview I've ever took in my life, I was hired on the spot. I have worked in a family automotive repair shop since 1976. When I replied to the job offer with, I have no doubt about my automotive knowledge, but I will need some assistance in the teaching end of it. And I was told that I would have all Harlem has to offer. The next board meeting, I am asking for the Board of Education to give me the opportunity of a closed session meeting with the regards to my recent evaluation, which seeks to have my teaching at Harlem to end. In short, I was not provided all that Harlem has to offer. I feel that I am owed the opportunity and will ask for your support in this. Additionally, there are other details of my evaluation, none of which was an issue noted in my first year of teaching. As you receive more information about this, I wanted to make sure that each of you know who I am, what I care about our students, and I care enough to fight for the opportunity to serve our community and our kids. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir. Steve?
Cameron?
Yep. Steve.
Good evening. My name is Steve Cameron, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Harlem Auto Shop teacher, Mr. Jack, because I've heard he was notified that this contract won't be renewed next semester. Also, my son Justin is a senior at Harlem High School this year, and he had the opportunity to take a class with Mr. Jack. Due to medical issues, Justin couldn't attend classes in person for several months of last semester. We worked with the school district, the HHS principal, and individually with his teachers to see what could be done so he wouldn't miss a semester of school due to his medical problems. And one of the things we asked for was that his teachers turn on Google Meet along with the classroom cameras so Justin could get the benefit of seeing the classroom lectures in person. While most of his teachers tried to be helpful and accommodating, Mr. Jack was the only teacher who did what we asked so Justin could at least see the classroom lectures. Mr. Jack also offered to work with Justin one-on-one outside of school hours if needed. Thanks in no small part to Mr. Jack's effort, Justin went on to get a solid B grade in that small gas engines class. Unfortunately, in some of his other classes without the lecture time, he didn't do as well. I bring this story up because it's an example of how Mr. Jack tries to help his students in any way that he can. He genuinely cares about them, and I can say with confidence, Mr. Jack will bend over backward to help them, whether it's during school hours or after hours or the weekends. Full disclosure, I have known my friend Dennis Jack for 50 years. He's been a close friend of mine for that entire time, and for me it was a great coincidence that he would become a teacher of Justin's. Because of that long relationship, I'm confident in saying that I know him well, and while some of you may be thinking that's why he went the extra mile to help my son, I can tell you that's not the reason. Anyone who's known my friend Dennis for 5 minutes knows he helped him in that way because that's who he is. And he would do the same thing for any of your children. Members of the board, I've heard it's difficult to find good teachers at this time. You already have a good, motivated, and highly knowledgeable auto shop teacher in Mr. Jack. He's worked hard, using equipment supplied by the school that is admittedly old and in some cases less than ideal, but he's managed to teach his classes at Harlem to anyone who comes to his class to learn. He's a real asset to the Harlem School District, and I strongly urge you to extend his contract this fall. Thank you.
Thank you. Lucas Burbank.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. I've had Mr. Jack since my sophomore year of high school. I had him for Automotive 1, and then this year I was given the opportunity for Automotive 2. Mr. Jack has been an exceptional teacher for me, and as many as any other students can say the same thing, honestly. He's always there to help. Whether it's personal, whether it's school related, whether it's anything other than that, he's always there to help because that's just who he is as a person. Mr. Jack has taken the initiative to use a surplus amount of small engine motors that are in the shop that have been sitting there for years. He's taken the initiative for that. As the past teacher just let it sit there for years. And it goes for the same way as the automotive car motors that we're tearing down and putting back together currently in class right now have been sitting on the shelves for years that have just become useless and collecting dust. He takes the initiative. He has the drive to teach us whether we're struggling, can't get it, or we're doing perfect. He's always there to lend in a helping hand, and I just find it hard to believe that his teaching or his evaluation was basically saying not satisfied. Mr. Jack is a great person all around, whether it's through the automotive industry or outside, just as a personal friend. I would just like to see the board continue his contract through next semester. Thank you.
Thank you. Adrian Palos.
I'm Adrian Palos. I've been in the Harlem district for my whole life pretty much, and I've seen ups and downs of teachers that I've had. Some teachers that don't really care much about the students. They're there for the paycheck, and at least I would say. Mr. Jack is not that person. I had him for the last 2 years, and I also had the previous automotive teacher beforehand for small gas. And I can say the previous small gas teacher, we had the small gas or the lawnmower motors, take them apart, and when we asked for help, it was kind of just like kind of figure it out, and they give us a worksheet. But a lot of us don't learn just by giving a worksheet. We're hands-on learners, and I think Mr. Jack is doing a good job by actually giving us that experience of working on the engines. Everyone in here has a car, I'm sure, and not everyone in here probably knows how to work on a car, and that's what Mr. Jack is giving us the opportunity to do. Learn about our cars, not just like the cars we have in the shop, but the ones, our own vehicles that might have something wrong with it. We've had people come in, change their brakes, check links, upper control arms, just a little bit of things on the cars, simple things, oil changes, checking leaks or transmission fluid, just the little things that might go wrong with your car. So Mr. Jack has given us the opportunity to check our own cars and the cars in the shop, obviously. As Lucas said, it's kind of hard to believe that he may not be able to continue his teaching career because of the fact that, this evaluation that was given. And I've been through many of teachers. I've had some of the people in here as teachers and, principals and whatnot, and Mr. Jack is one of those great people that you need at Harlem, and that's really it. But I hope, you guys reconsider your guys' opinion on Mr. Jack and maybe give him an opportunity to, better his teaching career, and that's it.
Thank you. Zachary Olson.
Hello, I'm Zachary Olson. I've had Mr. Jack as an auto teacher for the last 2 years, and I also, as well as Adrian, had the last auto teacher. The difference between them is night and day. as to, like Adrian was saying before, if you had an issue with the old auto teacher and learning, it was figured out on your own, here's a worksheet. But Mr. Jack has no problem answering your questions, helping you through it, even if he has to sit there and show you how to do something, then he'll take it completely back apart and stand next to you and walk you back through the steps. I have a job as a mechanic already, and even when I have trouble then, I call Mr. Jack and I ask him. And normally I'm working late to work around my school hours, and I've called him, I believe the latest was like 2 in the morning, and he answered and helped me. So when it came down to finding out that his evaluation was found as not, I don't know how to say it, but how it didn't come to par for whoever was evaluating, I was surprised, because this man has amazing character. He has a lot of knowledge to show all of the students that come into his classroom, and he always has a smile on his face even on the worst of days. He went to a funeral one day and then came back the next day and kept teaching like nothing happened. Smile on his face, helped everyone. So I didn't enjoy hearing that his contract might not be re-signed next semester, but I will ask you guys, please reconsider it, because he is an amazing man as far as a teacher and person in general. And I would actually like to see all my younger students that are at the school to go through him, because I've learned a lot, and I know all of my classmates have as well. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is it Mike Stephen or Mike Stepik?
Michael Stupid.
Okay.
I think Stupid left. Did he? Yeah. He's not here.
Okay. Thank you guys for comments from the community. All right, moving to approval of the bills.
All right, thank you. Total payables this period were $1,046,579.46. There was one payroll this period in the amount of $3,014,332.72. The total expenditures of $4,060,912.18. Split out by fund, the education fund paid $3,342,747.59. The tort fund paid $5,105.29. The operations and maintenance fund paid $272,074.63. The debt service fund paid $2,000 even. The transportation fund paid $201,806.19. The IMRF Social Security Fund paid $103,644.63. And the Capital Project Fund paid $133,533.85. Again, for total expenditures of $4,060,912.18. Are there any unanswered bill questions? That's it.
Motion for approval of the bills?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Abstain.
Okay, moving to communications and committee reports. Hey, everyone. I just want to thank the community for coming out, hearing your voices, hearing your comments, hearing your concerns, hearing your thoughts is always needed and always what we need. So first off, I would like to say thank you. Going on to the long list of our awards and recognitions, the girls bowling, they're number 2 in the state. The last 3 years, they're gonna be there for, looks like they're gonna be going back again. Can't wait to watch them grow. Like, as again, I said that I saw their alumni, which happens to be at Nebraska, doing good things. So, I mean, not only from all the way down to all the way up into the collegiate level, Harlem's still showing proud. Wrestling. It looks like we have some young talent coming through. I know that it was a trying year just trying to find tournaments forever for those kids that were just trying to just compete, couldn't, that's why they had to go to Iowa. So I'm looking forward to next year being a full year and them being able to actually compete in their normal tournaments and being able to see what they can do. Now we got the swimmer that is breaking the records that's been up there for all the way since Brad Shields in '97, so obviously that's about time, so good thing for him. And he's doing it with his dad, so that's an awesome thing and I know I'm just trying to coach my son. I actually have to go coach other kids and let somebody else coach my kid. That's the hardest thing ever. So to see them prosper and do all that, that's a real testament to both of them being able to coexist. Yeah. I'd like to say thank you to the Loves Park Police, working with Lisa Clark in Loves Park. We do our Christmas for Kids, but I'm glad that, there's more kids out there, so to see that they do even more is awesome. And just to have that symbiotic relationship where you guys are talking and having that communication and letting them see a softer side of the police is a thank you. So keep that up. I'm gonna make it a little bit lighter now, so just go back to our next regular board meeting will be March 21st, my wife's birthday, so I'm gonna have to figure that one out. March 20 at 6 p.m. And I need a recommendation to destroy audio recordings from January 20th to July 20th, older than 18 months. On the back end, right? All right. And then I will, since Ms. Brogan is not here today, Jill Brogan, that is, I will read her part for the next policy committee meeting will be April 20th at 6 p.m. It was changed from April 18th at 6 p.m. So in my report. Evelyn Meeks.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be back. I've been gone, seemed like, for months, but it's been 2.5 months, but I'm
This
back.
used to be Brown.
Huh?
He used to be brown.
Oh, his beard.
Yeah.
Singing Rip Van Winkle, but it looks good, I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone. Glad to be back. I like the artwork, really, really nice. I piggyback off of Mike on everything, but I just want to say congratulations to all of the athletes and on awards and recognition, and thank you to the Loves Park Police Department. And also thank you to the community. We really do appreciate when you come out and voice your opinions. We really do appreciate it, and we do listen and try to do the best we can to try to solve whatever problem or situation that's going on. And I can't, my brain is, I'm so happy to be back, I can't think correctly. And so I'm like, woo, but I'll think of something else, I'll come back. But I just want to say thank you, and that's all on my report. Oh, yes, the next equity meeting is
April 7th.
March 24th, but we need to change that date.
Yeah. To April 7th?
April
7th.
7th at 4:30.
At 4:30.
It'll be April 7th at 4:30, and that's all I have to report. And again, thank you.
Kurt Thompson.
Good evening, everyone. Echoing what others have said, just listening to the bowling, the wrestling, the swimming, the fantastic talent that's there, the amount of time that's left and opportunities that's there. I don't know about you, I lost track of how many records was broken in that conversation. There was quite a few, so that's pretty amazing. So congratulations to all of them. Also, the great things that the Loves Park Police Department is doing, building on top of that, giving opportunities to our community. That's excellent, and keep it up. We'll have more plaques. Besides that, thank you to the students that came in for the pledge today. That was excellent. Never get old or tired of seeing everyone come in and do the pledge that way. So that is That's nice as well. And then, yes, the comments from the community, it's great, come in, being able to speak that, especially students coming in, getting your notes ready, feeling so strong for it to come in and present that side of it means a lot, and we listen to all of that. So glad they were able to come in and say their piece that way. Other than that, the most exciting part of this, of course, is the next Business Services Committee meeting. No one's listening, no one's coming in to enjoy the fun, but you have another opportunity on April 6th of this year at 6 p.m. right here. Come in, it's worth it. It's just here, just want to see Josh. It's worth it for that alone.
Thanks for the effort.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's gonna be a packed house when it's done, I tell you. That being said, guys, that ends my report tonight.
I knew I forgot something. Thank you, Mrs. Juska, for your students from Wednesday did a wonderful job, and it was nice to see little bodies in person, so they did a wonderful job, so thanks again for that. Okay, I'm done, I won't.
You just weren't used to it, so again, it's so used to seeing them on a screen, I get it.
Yeah, so, thank you. I won't cut in no more.
Larry.
It was very nice to see all of our Husky athletes out here. I really thought that when Marshall wanted to make the comment, I thought he was gonna say he wanted to wrestle next year. But it's wonderful to see all the wonderful things that our athletic department does. But I think that it was wonderful that Mr. Jack was here to draw our attention to all the wonderful things that all of the teachers do here. Miss Yuska, Miss Clark are also here. The wonderful things that all the principals and teachers do in our buildings is just, it's terrific. That Husky pride goes way beyond the ball courts and the wrestling mats and the swimming pools. And all of the support staff that we have should always be recognized also for all of the great things that they do. And we don't even give them trophies, isn't that something? But maybe we can give them a trophy. Ms. Yarber, why don't you work on that? So I'm sitting on the edge of my seat just waiting for the report from the Education Committee this evening. It's gonna be a terrific report. I hope you all enjoy it. And if you want more of the Education Committee, remember, Patriots Day, April 19th, 2022 at 6 o'clock p.m. Be there, be square.
I'll be at the next one.
All right.
And thank you, Mrs. Clark.
Yeah, and I don't want to leave out, if it's kept back there, don't leave out the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department.
Tell him thank you too.
We're truly blessed to have wonderful law enforcement agencies watching out for us in this school district with both the Loves Park Police Department and the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department. Truly blessed. Thank you.
Sue Brogan.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, like Evelyn, I feel like it's been forever since I've been in the room here. Ditto to what everybody said. Congratulations to all the sports. Swimming was my passion in school, and unfortunately none of my kids took after that. That went for other stuff. So I'd love to hear and see that stuff. Thank you for the comments from the community. I take more stock in information from the students on firsthand what they're seeing and doing and learning in the classroom. And for them to take time out of the night to come in and speak with us is very much appreciated. I heard kind of the same thing over and over again with them regarding the teachers, so it's nice to know how our students feel about our staff around here. I know there was something else I wanted to say. Thank you for pledge students. Thank you, Ms. Clark. Thank you, Mr. Cassio, and everybody else involved within our district. I think that ends my report. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. Evelyn, with you moving equity and social justice to 4:30, it does make it harder and difficult, impossible for me to attend, so I will be dropping the opportunity. I can't make 4:30 times.
Sharon Ranieri.
Great job to Windsor School. You guys, for two of them, they did a good job. They weren't even shy or anything. They did good. I also wanted to congratulate the bowling team and Jeremy with the swimming. That was great. And the wrestlers, all their hard work and dedication has paid off. They are a great representation of our school district, and we're very proud of them. Today, I attended the YWCA Leadership Luncheon. I loved how, learning about the educating and inspiring our community, that's very crucial. And I wanted to congratulate to all the nominees and the winners for their outstanding women in our community. So that ends my report.
Thank you. Administrative reports, Dr. Irving.
All right, so this is a recap of our last education committee meeting. At the last one, we looked at our academic and our behavior data for the district. When we do have our education committee meetings, we do go building by building, so we do get a lot more detail. So this is just kind of that overview as far as the district goes. This slide here represents our referrals over the past several years. One thing to note is that this year's data is showing where we are after quarters 1 and quarter 2, where the others show at the end of the year. Last year, you recall having about a third of or a quarter of our students who were remote, having fewer students in the building, at the secondary going every other day. We did see a major decrease in our referrals, so seeing an increase at the beginning of the year is not surprising. We also discussed the fact that for the middle school, we have 2 grade levels that were kind of learning how to be middle schoolers this year, having 5 days a week that were in session. In the high school, it was like having 2 grades that were learning how to be high schoolers. So we did have some behaviors at the beginning of the year, but we have seen all of that kind of settle down.
Now, these are grade schools, are they not?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was talking as a whole, because our next one is our secondary slide. So as we look at these, we do have that unique aspect of having 2 grades that were kind of that first year middle school and the 2 that were the high school. This slide here is the one that we want to see the line, the lines to be as even as possible. So the lighter blue is the percentage of referrals by each of our student groups, and the darker blue is what our district makeup is. So we have 53% males, 47% females. You would hope to see that your referrals would represent the same. Seeing more males than females is not unusual. We tend to see a greater number of males versus females. However, we would want to see that a little bit closer than what it is. Another place that stands out is our students with IEPs, but in the past several years, this used to be closer to the 70%. So this has really gone down a whole lot, being at 30. So even though it's disproportionate, we still have made a lot of progress there, as well as free and reduced. We used to see a much larger gap between what our district representation is and the number of referrals. As far as our student groups by race, this is another place that if you looked at longitudinal data, it is more even than what it has been. However, we do see that our Black African American population still is disproportionate, as is 2 or more races. But again, if we went back and we looked at several years and looked at where we are now, we have had some changes in there. And I would say that that has to do with some of our MTSS processes, our social workers, our check-in, check-out. We have lots of different opportunities to help support our students, our work around trauma, and our equity work. Looking at our iReady data, I'm going to start out by looking at math. This here shows us what it has looked like over the past few years. So that first column is showing that 18-19 school year when we had we were all in session together, and it compares us as a district, nationally, Illinois, and then the district this year. So we're looking at norms a few years ago, and then we're looking at our current norms. As you can see where we were a few years ago and where we are now, there is a discrepancy, but if you look at where we are as a district compared to Illinois and nationally, we are at the same place, where a few years ago we were behind the national and the state norms. This shows where our students were at the beginning of the year, as far as grade level expectations compared to the winter. You can see that we have had an increase in our number of students who are at grade level, or either early or above grade level. Our gap for 3 years has gone down, but our 2-year we have seen even more progress as far as our percentages. I know that this slide can be a little overwhelming, but this is to show you a true representation of what is occurring across the district. So this is showing you grade level by grade level, starting with kindergarten through 8th grade. And what you will notice with your kindergartners is that you don't see any red. The reason why you don't see any red with your kindergartners is that they can't be 2 or 3 grade levels behind. So that's why you only see green and yellow there. Also, your first grade can't be 3 grade levels behind, so that's why it's showing that light red. But you can see that our green has been growing. We have opportunities where it has not grown as much as others, and that's part of the reason why we're adopting the new math curriculum. But you can see that we have had a lot of growth throughout the school year.
All right, so you're seeing this right now. What's your projection for the spring? Now that you're seeing this and you're already like, we're gonna do something different with math. I mean, you're obviously talking to the teachers. What do you?
Well, what we're seeing is that we have made a lot of growth, more in the red area. The opportunity for growth for us is our kids who are in the green. So the kids who have been at grade level, we're really trying to work on doing some more pushing for them. Having our TSS, our Target Support Specialists, they're targeting on these yellow kids right here. And so we are really focused on what's called stretch growth. And the stretch growth takes 2 to 3 years to help get the student to the grade level. And so we are, I mean, yes, we want them to get their typical year's growth, but we are really trying to focus on that other growth. It's hard to tell because often we see a larger growth in the second semester, and that was part of the conversation we had at the Ed Committee. A lot of our administrators see that their students grow more second semester than first semester. I'm not quite sure the whys behind it. Some of it's because of the beginning of the year is a shorter period of time. So as far as being able to say what our end of the year is going to look like right this moment, it's kind of hard to tell. Our administrators felt like they were at a good spot as we went from building to building.
Okay.
Looking at our reading data, this is the same as before where we looked at our 18-19 school year to this. Even though it's a little bit lower in reading than math compared to nationally, we are in a good place. The curriculum associates, when they talked to us, they felt comfortable, felt good about where we were compared to the national norms. Here, again, just looking at our fall data to our winter data, you can see that we had more growth here with our kids at grade level and above grade level. And when we look at by each individual grade, what we have learned is that our kids here are the ones that we're really trying to focus on. And those are the ones who didn't have that in-person instruction in kindergarten and first grade. We are seeing that they are struggling a little bit more with some of those phonics and some of the real basic skills for reading right now. And so as buildings are working together as part of their MTSS teams, those are some of the things that they're focusing on, is how to help support the kids. And as we're able to start pulling in more and more of these small groups, that too is going to help focus on each of those students' needs and their opportunities.
All right, and I have the honor of speaking about One Goal. I believe I've had the opportunity to meet everyone, all board members, maybe once I've had the opportunity to see you, but I'm Jake Hubert, I'm Director of Secondary Education. Happy to be here this evening. One Goal is an organization that ISBE has decided to team up with. One of the things One Goal does is they work with districts to better, to help them build the capacity to serve all students. One of the things they really want to focus on in One Goal is making sure that all of our pathways, our college and career readiness, our military, they're all represented fairly by the distribution of our students. So in other words, it's not like if our demographics, like we looked at the behavior data. When we look at that and break it down by demographics, we want to make sure that all demographics, whether you have an IEP or no matter what race, are represented through each and every opportunity that we have. So what they do is they come in, the state contracted with them, and they're working with us for free for 2 years. They work with the building leadership, and one of the things they're working on is our capacity to kind of look at some of that data and provide opportunities for data. We had a meeting with One Goal today, in fact, and there were two big things that we discussed kind of as a leadership group at the high school for things that we want to look at, such as freshmen on track, because one of the things we've really noticed looking at some of the data they've provided for us, as well as some of the other data that we've had, is our freshmen on track. It's really representative of our students in graduation, so we want to make sure that we're really focusing with their students as they come into the high school on what we can do to provide for them, and really kind of teach them what we have and provide supports for all groups of students to help them through and get them to graduation. The other big goal that we had an opportunity to look at was just saying, you know what, we have data through the Illinois Interactive Report Card. We have data through the National Clearinghouse, but the National Clearinghouse will only provide opportunities for students who are at colleges and universities. We really want to build the capacity to be able to get some, to put in some information systems where we can really gather how our students are doing beyond high school, even in the trades and the military, because we don't have good systems in place for that. So those are two things that One Goal has helped us in really kind of diving into the data to show us that we can use that to help to drive programs and support our students. So they build the capacity of school leadership to leverage the continuous improvement, support post-secondary improvement. So in all areas there. And they do that in a number of ways. I know one of the things that's down there, and I think one of the things that kind of I didn't probably have a great answer for before that I would like to share. When you look at that, a lot of people, when they think of FAFSA, they think, oh, well, those are just students who are going to college. FAFSA is also used by the trades. Any post-secondary advancement, those groups have access to the FAFSA as well, not just colleges and universities. So they do want to make sure that we're getting as many students as possible to fill out that FAFSA. Plus, I don't know about you guys, I did change my first degree actually as a junior in college. I went ahead and earned it and then decided to go into education after that. There's a lot of kids who say, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. If they don't fill out that FAFSA and they change their mind their senior year, they're missing out on opportunities that can provide financial support for them to go on and advance beyond high school. So that's why it's important for them to also complete that FAFSA. So the schedule here, we've been meeting with them. We're going to meet about every 3 weeks. with One Goal right now, and that will support us through next year. We will start some discussions. There's a possibility that after 2 years, we could continue to partner with them and bring in a classroom model. That's something, though, we're just in the initial phases of having some discussion about, and that's something then where if we feel very strongly that we'd like to bring in a classroom model, it's something we're going to bring out with. We're going to end up getting all stakeholder input on that matter. Right now they're just really working with the leadership group to build our capacity to reflect on those opportunities. So there's what they do, and I'm not going to read through the 3 points there. Any questions?
None from me.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay.
Can you go, oh, sorry. Can you go back to your slide with 7th and 8th grade?
Yes, sir.
Right there.
Is that the reading one or the math one?
This is the reading ones for you.
Reading, all right, and then can you go to the math? Okay. That's what I was looking at those numbers. Thank you.
Yep.
Back to Josh Rand.
All right, thank you. My first item tonight is a recommendation to approve a facility request with the Lloyd Bombers 11U baseball for a couple dates at the middle school on Sunday. Any questions on that rental? Next is a recommendation to accept the January 2022 Treasurer's Report, and we reviewed that at Business Services. It was riveting. Next is a recommendation to award a bid to Nelson Adams NACO for the purchase and installation of cafeteria tables at Windsor Elementary for a total cost of $63,387.38. We did have 3 bids that came in on that. So
I'm just trying to remember, like, we did this last year, right?
2 years ago at Windsor. I don't think it was last summer. When did you get your tables?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. They were like 53, so they've already gone up.
I think they were 60. They've definitely gone up. It's been a couple years, but I mean, we had that one quote that was 83,000.
No, I remember. Yeah, so that's why I was
This
like,
year.
sign on the dot. Okay.
Yeah, so
I was just trying to remember like how much they've gone up.
we opened the 83,000 first, and then came down from there. Each bid after that came down. So, yeah, it's definitely up, but 63 was better.
And no negative reviews when we looked into this one?
Nope.
I think that's one thing to call it. This is the first time we've worked with this particular.
Yep, we got
source.
2 positive references on that one. So.
Okay.
Thank you. So the next 2 items relate to a 457B plan. So the first recommendation is a recommendation to approve Plan Connect, the 403B and 457B Governmental Program Services Agreement. So we currently contract with Plan Connect for our 403B plan. TRS and the state are beginning to roll out a 457B, which will be an auto enroll for new staff members at some point this summer. That's limited to just Voya, and there's some fees involved in that. So we've had a few staff members reach out about wanting a 457B plan. So this would piggyback off our 403B plan, so people can donate to or contribute to both. And this gives them a lot more vendor options like we have now. I will be bringing a recommendation for the TRS, what's called the Supplemental Savings Plan, or SSP, because of that auto enrollment. I was just making sure council didn't have any concerns with that agreement in the future. So this is only just another option, and anyone that essentially contributes their max to the 403B can roll over to this if they choose so.
Okay.
So, and the best thing about Plan Connect is we don't pay them anything. So they charge the vendors, so they do a really nice job for us. So the second part, recommendation 6B, is to approve the plan adoption agreement. So this is just the rules we follow, whether we allow loans and all those kinds of things. And Roth option, so that lays it out in there. But we did have them essentially copy what our 403B plan is, and then they maintain contribution limits. At least on the 403B side, there's a mandatory notification to all of our staff, so they mail everyone that's eligible, let them know they're eligible. And we've been able to open up the administration piece of that 403B plan because Plan Connect does all of that tracking and notification for us, so it's great. So those are two items both related to adding a 457B plan. Are there any questions on that? Next is a recommendation to renew the Swanson Farm rental agreement for 2022 at a rate of $4,800. That is an $800 increase. We hadn't increased it in a while, so we worked with him, and he was good with raising it to $4,800. Any questions?
It's only 1 year. So again, if we look to use that for any of our projects ahead of the time, it's not locking us into anything.
So my next item is a recommendation to rescind the combi oven bid award from RAH Equipment due to a change in bid terms and re-award it to Culinary Depot for a cost of $48,781.04. We issued the PO. They wanted half of the money, or $24,000 up front. And we said no, because this could be 6 or 8 months before this thing comes in. We checked with the next lowest bidder, and they have a net 30 term, so after it's installed, it was like $70 more for the bid. So council said because we didn't put that in the bid, they never disclosed it, that they wanted half down. So we're rescinding that and re-award. Are there any questions on that? So my last item, at the last meeting, there was a little bit of conversation regarding CTE and that status, so I asked DLA to go ahead and put together just a brief summary of kind of where we've been, what the next step is on that, so that is at your place. So they've conducted workshops, online curriculum surveys, and then they're preliminarily designing the space needs. So the next step is, we're looking at next week, doing a walkthrough of the high school regarding any spaces they're proposing would be renovation versus new square footage, and then having them touch base with the departments to make sure that what they're speccing meets the needs of what we've been going through information-wise with them, and looking at presenting that information. Hopefully, the goal is next month to the board.
Yeah, the first April 11th.
April 11th is the final draft that you speak of at the land here.
That is the plan. We'll do that walkthrough, and then that would be the goal that we're shooting
for. Feet to the fire.
Right.
One thing that has kind of come up a couple times that I wanted to bring up to the table and get some thoughts is the possibility of maybe adding a few thousand square feet and locating the on-site health clinic there. I don't know, and this isn't something that we need a decision on or anything, but we have programs in the building that may benefit for having some of that on site. We have a need for it, I believe, from a staff standpoint, and I think it would benefit the district as a whole to look at something like that, but I don't know what.
I guess what calling out is then, based on what they're doing with a tight timeline, do they need approval to look into that? Is that just like, oh, we slap in 11,000 square feet in this thing, this template? Like, what is that? What paths does that open up with that simple statement?
Sure. So I have broached the topic. They haven't really done much with it, but they asked, like, do you want us to look into that more? So maybe we could have them look at that as an option, maybe not the only option, but just to see how that would fit in, or if that could be an option.
And that would be at no extra charge, right?
Well, we would have to pay for the square footage of the, oh, you mean in
design,
the
right?
study? In their study?
For
Yeah,
what they're
right.
doing. They're
Yes.
gonna just comp that, just add that in there.
Yeah, I mean, just be part of, now if we have to build it, there would be.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, wait, what?
Larry's got a guy, it's fine.
I think there could be a lot of really good benefits there, but obviously we're not obligating anything at this point, but just looking
I guess
at
the only thing I
it.
would say is that this makes sense. There's nothing else that's like a top 3, like, that are more likely, right? Like, we're not like, there's 99.9% chance we're gonna do this thing, so let's use the 1% on this anyways. Like, this is still going to be a high probability of going down this road. Does that make sense?
When you say going down this road, the CTE road?
No, you're on the health services side.
Oh.
Like, there's not another like, cause we've had in the
So-
past potential locations, is it like,
So health services is a class that they already work with the hospital, right? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
So,
oh, yeah, I guess maybe,
So-
I'm thinking my wire's already crossed here.
So our healthcare pathway right now goes into athletic training.
Oh, okay.
So that's where we're headed right now, but something like this would open up the opportunity for like CNA or, because right now our students who are in the CNA program go through CNC. And so they leave our campus to do that program. So by doing something like this, that would allow us the opportunity to do things on campus. And then Mr. Hubert has also been working with some people on how we might be able to get like CNA into our district versus having our students have to go elsewhere.
Sure, no, that clarifies completely, I was thinking the wrong thing altogether.
One thing that might be cool is if you had another room that's maybe not outside the clinic, but if we have a doctor there, they could come over and use it as a teaching area, and so, I don't know, there's all kinds of ideas.
I don't see any problem with right now the cost is being, let's have to take a look, right?
Doesn't
Like,
cost
I
anything to
don't think you have to support it,
ask
like,
questions.
it's, there's nothing there, let's look into it, there's zero costs, and if we can get the same time frame on it too. If I were them, I'd push back the time with it. but
Oh,
we'll
no,
see.
we're gonna get that.
That's on you, I'm just saying, that's the trick I would've done, you know?
We won't let that
Can't
change
figure that one
the
out for like 2
timeline.
months.
No checky.
Yes.
And you know, at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, at least we've looked
Yeah,
at it
no,
as an
yeah.
option, because there's not a lot of in-district options where something like that could potentially fit. So in the location, overall, you know, looks like it'd be pretty good, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
Seems like a good fit.
so we're gonna get that walkthrough scheduled ASAP, go do that, review that with the departments, have them finalize it, and come and present to you guys, so.
April
11th. April 11th.
No pressure.
Go write that on your board.
All right. Any other questions on that program? I appreciate it. That's it for me.
I can't wait for April 11th. Everybody's gonna be a great meeting.
Seems like that's your birthday.
March 23rd, so. All right, Dr. Shelley Wagner.
And this evening, I have the recommendation to approve the personnel agenda only. There's no addendum this evening. We have 4 employments, 2 transfers, and 1 leave of absence. 2 staff requesting time from the classified staff, Federation Bank. And we also have a new position that I'm bringing forward due to a student with IEP needs, a paraeducator position at McChesney Elementary. This is a terminal position, meaning that it will end at the end of the school year. For informational purposes only, we had 5 resignations. That ends it for me.
All right, thank you so much. Dr. Yarbrough.
All right, well, so that actually ends our administrative reports. I think we're in a good spot with that, so.
You're
Thank you.
good?
Yep, thank you for everybody that presented.
All right. We have, do we have a personal agenda?
First, no addendum, so it's just the agenda and the facility request.
Okay. Can I get a motion for the approval of the personal agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye.
12C, approved facility request. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mrs. Sterling?
Aye. 12D, approved destruction of audio recordings from January 20th to July 2020, more than 18 months old. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
All right, I need 13B, approve acceptance of January 2022 treasurer's report.
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
13C, approve the award bid to Nelson Adams Nacho? I wouldn't-
NACO.
NACO, thank you. for the, thanks, for the purchase and installation of cafeteria tables at Windsor Elementary for a total cost of $63,387.38. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Sorry,
Mr.
so I keep going over it.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Rogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
13D, approve Plan Connect 403B and 457B Governmental Program Services Agreement. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Rogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
13E, approve the Governmental 457B Plan Adoption Agreement. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Rogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks, aye.
13F, approve renewal of Swanson Farm Rental Agreement for 2022 at the rate of $4,800. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Rogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks, aye.
13G, approve rescission of Conby Oven Bid Award for RAH, equipment due to change in bid terms and re-award bid to Culinary Depot for a cost of $48,781.04. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Rogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye. No any announcements and discussion?
No.
Can I get a motion to go into executive session to discuss employment of personnel, 5 ILCS 120-2C1, negotiations, 5 ILCS 120-2C2, and yeah, no, is it, and discussion of lawfully closed meeting minutes, 5 ILCS 120-2C21.
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Rogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
5 minutes.
All right.